Hello and welcome back to the channel. In 2023, it is a crazy year to be a seller in Calgary. So what I wanted to do is record you a video showcasing how I sell homes and one of the reasons why people hire me to be the realtor. So this video is kind of neat because this is the exact same type of video that I actually record my clients when they come to me asking me questions. Not only do I answer my phone and shoot back text messages, but I record a lot of these videos in a verbally, visually, and properly explain things in a lot more detail than 90% of the realtors out there. So when we scroll down here, I'm going to go through my 2023 seller's guide, and then I'm going to go through my actual presentation that I share with sellers. So please make sure to look at the chapters along the bottom. I do not anticipate you to watch the full thing, but if you are curious about certain sections of how to sell a property, what I do, stuff like that, please go ahead and click the very first chapter or the last chapter along the bar there and follow along with me. So let's get into my 2023 seller's guide. I am just gonna go off the cusp here and be as natural as possible. This is not scripted. This is me just talking from my heart. So I have created this a couple years ago, and this has been an absolutely fantastic guide for my sellers. Now, 2023, your success starts with a plan. The exact same thing that I say for buyers. You want to make sure that you are getting planning ahead in time to make sure that you're actually going to go up competitively and not miss out on any opportunities. The biggest thing that you want to do is sell your home for the most amount of money and the least amount of time. You do not want to be stuck on the market for long periods of time, chasing down your price point, trying to be competitive. So let's just hop right into it here. Again, success starts with your plan. Our years of experience will help you net the most amount of money for your home. I'm not going to read this word for word verbatim, but I'm actually going to explain these different things, verbally and visually to help kind of give you a better understanding. If I just sat here and read these slides, you'd be very bored. Feel free to pause the video at any point and kind of read through them in a little bit more detail. And please comment below, ask me questions if you have questions to be asked. So choosing the best realtor for the job. It's always so important to interview one or two real estate agents because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're comparing services. Not two or three realtors do the exact same things. Everyone does something different. Number two would be price right to profit more. You want to make sure that you're not being greedy and you're asking $100,000 over market value, but you want to be competitive, and every single market is going to be different, right? The strategies in 2023 are a lot different than the strategies in 2019. 2023 is a very hot year. It's a seller's market. 2019 was a buyer's market. 3, prepare to amaze. There's a lot of things that we need to do in advance to make sure that we're going to amaze people as they walk through your property. 4, we want to maximize your exposure. What are we doing on the internet? Are we doing print advertisement? Whatever. 5 is show it off, so actually letting people walk through your property. 6, negotiate like a boss. Negotiation is one of the most important aspects as a realtor. How is your realtor negotiating for you? Are they discounting their services for you? Are they standing firm in what they believe? How are they actually upholding themselves? What are they saying to clients? What are they saying to buyers just maybe kicking tires of your property? What are they saying to other real estate agents? What are they saying to professionals? How are they actually negotiating, and what are they actually doing to best position your property? Then once you get that negotiation, you can calculate your net proceeds. How much are you actually going to pocket at the end of the day? That is very important for a lot of sellers out there. Number 8 is prepare to move, and number 9 is possession day. So typically you'd think it was a 10-step process, but I've boiled it down to 9. That's pretty much all I got for that. So let's continue to go on. Again, this is off the cusp. This is totally not scripted. This is just me speaking to you and being authentic as possible. So choosing the right agent for the job. So first, there's 3 things here. So there is marketing, there's negotiation, and then there's pricing. So I just read down and up. It is what it is. So pricing, negotiation, and marketing. These are three very important things that you need to put into consideration when choosing an agent. Feel free to pause the video if you want to dive into these a little bit more. I also talk a little bit more in detail in here. Scheduling showings and organizing paperwork. That is something very important as well. What systems do they have in place? Are they getting feedback? Are they organizing your showings in a way that makes sense to you? Are they clustered, and are they getting frustrated, or whatever the case might be? What is the system that realtor offers? I feel like this screen is actually a little bit smaller there. Nope, I'm just going crazy. So anyways, we're going to go and continue on. So pricing the right to profit more. It is so important to price your home correctly. It is a little bit easier in 2023 to price it than it was in 2019. 2023 is a seller's market. You might be getting ask or over ask, but you don't want to completely shoot for the stars and overprice your property. You don't want to be put in a position where all of your neighbors are selling for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 less than you, even $10,000 less than you, which puts you in an awkward position where you might need to do some price reductions to chase that market down. It is very important to price a home right. Right now, it's a little bit easier to do that because the activity and the inventory are, the inventory is low and the activity is high, so it's a little bit easier to price, but it's still very important to make sure that you're getting a pricing structure in place in advance and understanding where it could go when you go on the market. Prepare to amaze. So staging homes, sell 49% faster, sell for 7 to 11% more. You really want to make sure that you're staging your home properly. You want to sell the space, right? You have lived in your home for X amount of years. It's your space, but now it's time to make it public. We want to make sure that people go into that space and look at it and feel and put their own kind of twist on it, if you would. They want to put their furniture. You don't want to clutter the space. You don't want to fill it up with too much personal items, too many photos. You want to kind of remove the personality from the property and sell the space itself. So preparing to amaze. Now, a couple things that I will touch on in my presentation here is some of the things that I do above and beyond at the beginning stages to help you in that process. Maximizing exposure. So there's a couple things to consider here. There's a full list of things that I do. So maximizing your exposure is very important. Again, it is a little easier to do in 2023 because the inventory is so low and the buyers are so active. So maximizing your property is a little easier to do in 2023, but it's not something that should be ignored. You want to make sure that you have one shot at 0 days on market or your first week on market. You really want to make sure that you're maximizing your exposure. So putting it on places like YouTube or putting it on places like paid advertisement for Facebook, print flyers for your neighbors, anything that might feel like is the best possible solution for your specific situation. So we dive into that. I'll touch on that a little bit more in my presentation as well. Step number 5, show it off. Be flexible, create an open house, an inviting house, and receive showing feedback. These 3 are so important. Be flexible. It's hard to do sometimes, but when you are trying to attract the perfect buyer, you need to make sure that you can fit within their schedule. So typically within the first week, I would advise maybe going away on the Saturday or going away on the Sunday or go away for the whole weekend, right? Leave your home a little bit more open for people to come freely through it. Now, creating an inviting home. Again, what does that look like? Maybe the heat's turned up a little bit more to make it a little bit warmer. Maybe you have some candles going. Maybe you have some soft music playing, whatever. You don't want to overdo it and make it kind of weird or funny, but you do want to have an inviting home somewhere that people walk in and they feel comfort, right? Receive showing feedback. This is one thing that I really shine on, and it's something that I really take pride in. Calling the listing or calling the buyer's agent, making sure that we're getting full feedback. Now, I do have a spreadsheet that I keep feedback for because this video is going up on YouTube. I can't share personal information, but if you are interested on looking at my showing feedback spreadsheet, please feel free to reach out and ask, because that is one thing that I do that I feel like really separates me. The thing is, I call people, right? I call people, I talk to people, I ask them feedback. I don't text, right? I don't Facebook message, I call. I want to get their voice and explain to me what they like and don't like. It allows me an opportunity to build a relationship with that real estate agent and hopefully position your property for the best possible outcome when it comes to selling. I do want to touch on something else. Negative feedback is a very real thing, right? If we go on the market and we have 10 showings and for some reason your home's not selling and I do not get feedback, what do we know? How do we know what to shift? Is it the price point? Is it that ugly something that you have on the wall? Is it the paint? Is it the layout? Is it the traffic noise, right? Getting this feedback really helps us adjust quickly to the changing market. If we're overpriced, realtors will probably tell you that it's overpriced. Is it too close to the traffic, street noise, stuff like that, and maybe you don't really think about it anymore because you've been there for so long, but it's something to consider, right? Your price point is very competitive compared to your neighbor, but you're closer to the street and they're not, and they sell faster. I want to know that reason, and getting this feedback is so important. I don't care if it's a fast market or a slow market, you always need to get feedback. Negotiating like a boss. Negotiating is one of the most important aspects of being a real estate agent. I call people, I don't text. You will be amazed, just by the amount of text messages that I receive, lack of phone calls. How am I going to negotiate to the best possible ability through a text message? Like, come on. I want to be able to actually make some phone calls, develop the relationship, have awkward conversations. They're not fun, but having those difficult conversations and positioning your property for the best possible sale. Calculating your net proceeds is also something that's kind of exciting and kind of nerve-wracking, but there's a couple things that you need to put into consideration. Things like your legal fees. How much does a lawyer cost? Do you have a mortgage penalty payout? Disbursements, I can't say that properly. Adjustments and moving costs. These are things that you want to put into play. Now, when I actually go through a presentation with a seller, I will actually bring up a net sheet. And I should have actually prepared it for this call, but I'll make sure to put it right here because editing is great. So I put up a net sheet and I actually talk about some of the things that you would encounter. You know, how much does a real estate agent charge? How much is a lawyer? How much are these things? When you pay off your mortgage, how much do you have left over? These are very important things to know about before you even consider putting it on the MLS. You want to know exactly how much money you're going to put in the pocket at the end of the day. Prepare for a move. I create checklists. Not everyone uses them. That's totally fine, but I do want to help my clients prepare. So 3 to 4 weeks, there's a couple things that I would recommend you do. And then you've got 2 weeks and then 1 week prior. These are checklists that I quite enjoy using, but at the end of the day, not everyone wants it. Everyone does their own thing, but we do need to prepare for that move because you do not want to do it all within the last week because it can be very stressful. Then we got the day of and the day before. Possession day. Possession day is quite interesting because people just think, you know, it's going to happen right away. Now, the keys can be released at 9 a.m. or 3 to 4 p.m. It really depends on when that money actually gets transferred from the lawyer. Once that money gets transferred from the lawyer, the keys have been released, the home is officially sold. You should be out of the house by at least 12 noon that day, if not the day before, and have it a vacant property. Now, when the buyer comes through, they'll probably turn on all the appliances and make sure nothing is broken and it's in the same condition as it was the day they saw it. So, preparing for possession day. Couple other additional checklists here for people that are interested in this type of thing. Again, if you want something like this, you can always ask me. I have these printouts with coil bindings that you can actually utilize. Why work with Adam? Honesty, intelligence, and insightfulness. I'm not even going to read this, but at the end of the day, one of the things I really do pride myself in is being young enough to actually connect with the younger generation, old enough to have some wisdom, but right in the middle that I'm actually able to utilize tech to its fullest. I use things like this Loom video. I use my knowledge from being in the market for longer than the average agent is able to actually succeed, which is 3 years. I've been in real estate since 2017, so no, I am not a veteran by any means, but I have seen different markets and I have been able to shift the way that I talk to people and actually present information and guide people through the transaction. So I believe that I'm definitely up there with some of the more competitive realtors in Calgary, and I really do try my best to position my clients for success. So that is my guide. I also work with eXp Realty, which really does help me talk about tech in a different way. We are a very tech-oriented brokerage, which aligns perfectly with the way that I do business. So that is my unscripted, straight to the point seller's guide. If you want a copy of this, please go ahead and ask. I will email it to you, a PDF. I can send you a cloud link, or I can even give you a physical copy. So without further ado, let's actually move this up and make it a little bit smaller because this is a bigger screen. So this is my presentation. Now the presentation itself is something that I sit down with a seller at their kitchen table and showcase to them what I do. Now this is basically all about Adam Fyfe and selling your property. So this is a little bit of a kind of a breakdown of behind the scenes of how I conduct business. So let's go to the second page here. Now, first thing that I do, and I love this aspect of it, is asking questions and figuring out what is important to you, the client. So this is something that I really like to break the ice with, and it really does, open up the conversation for some smiles and some laughs and some conversation. So do all realtors offer the same type of service? And again, I just ask you, be creative, be honest. You have nothing to hide here. This is a very honest conversation, and I would love to kind of explain and dive a little deeper into something that you might think, about real estate agents in general. What defines a good real estate agent? And I usually leave it up. Is it communication? Is it being prepared? Is it being professional? Whatever, right? What defines a good real estate agent for you? What do you expect from the average listing agent? And I really want to emphasize average, right? Because I want to talk about average, below average, and then above average. What is important to you and what's your expectations of realtors? Because every realtor does not offer the same type of service. Do realtors make too much money? This is a fun one. This is an interesting conversation that I love to have with people because everyone has a little bit of a different answer, and I can tell you right now the answers are usually the same. So it's a very awesome conversation to have with people because, again, it allows me this opportunity to get on their level, right? Do realtors make too much money? Tell me how you really feel, right? Tell me what you think, and let's have a conversation about that. What is the best possible outcome from this transaction? Be creative. Sometimes it's not price. Sometimes it's a quick, painless transaction. Sometimes it's a transaction that you need 90 days to have possession. Sometimes it's a transaction that you need them to accept a certain term or condition. Maybe it's a transaction that you need to get other people involved in, right? What is the best possible outcome from this transaction? Again, these are very important questions to ask at the beginning stages because it allows me to get in alignment with my clients. I'm not just here to sell a service. I'm here to help you, help your family. And in order for me to do that, I need to understand where you're at. So that's a good one. So who is Adam Fyfe? Now I'm being a little bit, well, I don't even know. I'm trying to make this fun, right? Who is Adam Fyfe? 31-year-old Bowness homeowner. I live in Bowness, Calgary. Yes, I love it here. It is an absolutely amazing community. Is developed in like the 30s basically, and amalgamated into Calgary in I think it was 63 or 62, something along those lines. And it's just an awesome community. Personally, this is just a self-proclaimed thing. I'm a top 5 Calgary Realtor on YouTube. I do a lot of research on YouTube here in Calgary, and I really want to position myself. So this is fully self-proclaimed. This is not an official stat. But I would like to think that I'm top 5 in Calgary on YouTube because I do really want to share value. I want to share information that is valuable for you that actually makes sense. I'm a tradesman. I was a tradesman before I was a real estate agent, which really helps get in alignment with how a home functions. How does a home work? Can we move that wall? What is the code? What do we do? So I was an apprentice plumber. I did a little bit of electrical, and then I did a lot of woodwork. So it allows me this opportunity to see a home from a different lens. It's not just buying and selling. It's living in that home and making it your own. I'm a backcountry explorer. I love the backcountry. You know what? If I'm being honest, I love to turn off my cell phone. I need to tell my clients when obviously my cell phone's off, but I love the backcountry. I love Calgary. I love the mountains, and I love to just get out there and just enjoy nature. I am a team leader, right? If there's one thing that I'd like to express on this is I also explain these things to realtors. I like to build them up and explain things and give them the time of day to grow. I was a certified skydiver I don't even know how many years ago now. It's something that I really want to get back into. I loved it. I got 10 jumps under my belt. I became certified. It was absolutely enjoyable. And last but not least, I was a missionary, and I still am a missionary. I am a Christian by faith, young man. I believe in Jesus. Sorry for the people that out there and might get offended by that, but I was actually in the Philippines for 3 months doing some missions work there, helping develop some some backcountry communities, if you would, doing some solar electrification, doing some organic farming, stuff like that. So missionary work to me is very important. I think it really helps me get in alignment with my morals and values and how I treat people. I'm an honest and transparent person, and I can thank that to my belief system. So let's keep going here. Next thing we do is we talk about what's happening in Calgary. I'm not going to dive into this, but specifically what I would do is I would kind of just explain, what's going on for that property type in that area. We'll talk about different price points in Calgary. Maybe, you have a home in Southeast, like what's going on in the Southeast. How is this going to affect your specific sale? So we dive into that. Now, this one's interesting. Traditional versus modern agents. Now, this is something that I've kind of created. Now, traditional agents, there's a lot of real estate agents that do good work. They're a little bit traditional. Nothing wrong with that. If you want a traditional agent, you go ahead and you do that. So I would like to consider self-proclaimed modern agent. So one of the things that I like to do is prepare the home. So I might need to switch this around because there's a couple things that are a little bit interesting here. So for my sellers, I want to be mutually invested. So one of the ways that I become mutually invested is I help prepare your home for success. I pay for a carpet cleaning. I pay for staging or a staging consultation. I'll pay for a pre-home inspection. These are things that I actually put on my personal credit card before you go up for sale. Why do I do that? 1, I believe that your property is going to sell. 2, I want to be mutually invested with you. Now, if a tough conversation is occurred between myself and my client, I now get to say, look, I'm mutually invested in this as well. I don't want to drop the ball. I don't want to just walk away from this listing. I kind of want to pay off the $600-800 on my credit card. So my success fee as a realtor will also come into play in terms of paying those things off. Photos, personally taken, sometimes they got 3D tours. One of the things that I like to do is actually get someone in there with a physical camera, taking photos, bringing in lighting to get the twilight shots. Video, I do, obviously, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Rumble, I'm on different platforms. So making YouTube videos, putting up a couple reels, distributing them across all platforms, getting those extra eyes on your property. The exposure, putting your property up on all social media platforms, including Facebook groups. If we are in agreement, maybe I can put your home up on a off-market Facebook group. Maybe we can actually get a deal on an off-market Facebook page, whatever, right? There's a lot of different things that we can do in advance. Yes, we've signed the agreement. Yes, you're gonna go live maybe in 2 weeks, but if we have the photos a week before, why don't we just put them up on Facebook? Who knows? Maybe we can get something, maybe not. And then the marketing type, passive, uninvested, that could be a stretch for a lot of realtors, but one of the things that I really want to say is I'm active and I'm mutually invested. I am mutually invested into selling your home for the best possible profit at the shortest amount of time. Now, I'm not going to get into this, but this is one of those things that's a conversation that we have 1 week pre-active listing. We go through some of these items. When the listing goes live, this is super important. Constant communication. Very, very, very important for a lot of people. A lot of the feedback that I've received over the years is communication is somewhat subpar, right? So we really want to make sure that we're collecting all showing feedback. And at this point, I would bring up a couple spreadsheets that I've done even just in this past month. I have written, visual, and verbal communication. I record a lot of these videos. I show you the market. I show you your neighbors. I talk about these things verbally. I show you these things visually. 48-hour analysis on competing listings. Every 2 days, I really want to make sure that I'm doing a quick 5-minute browse of the market. Are we still competitive? Are other homes in your area selling, or are they all sitting? And then qualifying the leads. This is something that's super important for me. I don't want any tire kicker just to walk through your property. Yes, of course, if they request a showing, sure, that's very exciting, but we do need to have some sort of qualifying process. I would want to make sure that you are getting the best possible buyer through the home and not wasting anybody's time. So qualifying the leads, qualifying the different people that will be looking at your property, I think is super important. Obviously, we're going to be a little bit relaxed in certain areas just to make sure that people can see the property, but we still need to have an effort into try to qualify them. Now, the offer process is interesting. We go through all of this in a little bit more detail during the presentation, but here are some of the steps. We just basically review the offers. The likelihood of getting us into a multiple offer situation is likely in 2023. So we really want to make sure that we're diving into each individual offer and creating a negotiation strategy for each. No, I will not accept the final and best offer. I want to negotiate with every single agent. Is that time consuming? Yes. Is it worth it for my clients? Yes. I really want to make sure that I am positioning your property for the best possible opportunity to get the most amount of money via negotiation. That's all I'm going to say on that. Last and not least, hire a strategist, not a salesperson. This is one of the most interesting things, and one of my favorite slides is I want to strategize. I want to pre-plan. I want to set up. I want to help guide you. I want to explain things. I want to be actively invested with you. We are strategizing. Yes, of course, we are selling your house. Yes, of course, I'm putting your home up in the best possible light. But I do consider myself to be a strategist over a salesperson. I strategize. My time spent with clients is strategizing. 90% of my time that I deal with people is strategizing, not selling. Even with buyers, same idea. I'm not selling them on a property. I'm strategizing with them. I don't make the decision. I get to understand the flow of the process and strategize with those people and guide them to a decision. Yes, of course, if I feel like there's a property that really hits, the nail on the head, it's 10 out of 10, and maybe it's something that they want to buy, sure. Then I'll advise them to buy it, but I'm not going to make that decision for them. I'm going to strategize with them and make sure that they can think about it. Proven systems, tech savvy and invested, communication, and proactive. So that is all I've got for you today. This is my listing presentation and my 2023 buyer's guide. If you have any questions, if you want to just ask, how the market is in your certain area, how much your home is worth, anything along those lines, please go ahead, reach out to me directly and ask the questions. I will give you the time of day and explain it to the best of my ability. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.